Thank you for tuning into my channel again today. I'm Inspired Grizel, and on here you get content on love, relationship, worship, just really pure, good stuff that will inspire you to look within you to be the best version of you that God created you to be. Thank you for tuning in again, and for all our returning subscribers, thank you and God bless you. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Right, you'll get really inspiring stuff from on here. So today I want to share with us my experience. Right now I'm based in Dubai, if you didn't know, and here there's what we call overstay. Like when your visa is expired, be it a visit visa or an employment visa, you have to change to an active visa. If not, you get into overstay, and an overstay period, it attracts with it fines, right? So I want to share my story with how I got into overstay, 77 days overstay, and how God miraculously brought me out of it. Okay, so my first job, the first job I got in Dubai, the way God gave me that job first, it was just a miracle, because this was just like 5 days before my visa expired. And when I was called for this interview, despite several things that happened, which, long story, but I don't want to get into that for now. So I got this job. I just woke up that morning and I was in praise mode, and this man called me, and I went to the office. As soon as I got there, he was just like, okay, this is where the key for this is the drawer, this is the laptop, this is, I've never used a MacBook before, but he showed me all of that, and he told me, you just start work. I was like, oh my goodness. I was so grateful to God, because it was just God. I had just 5 days. If not, I had to exit the country. I had to go back home, all right, which wasn't something I wanted, which is a situation that many of us find ourselves into. Like, you imagine, if I go back home, where do I start from? You know, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my life? What will people say? But it's really not about people. But for me, I was just like, I really believed that the God that brought me was going to see me through, okay? Because I told him, don't take me where your grace will not carry me. And so when I got this job, I was so grateful to God. And so after the few days, I had to go for visa change, and then my boss sent my employment visa. I came back, okay? So when I started working with this employer, my God, it was crazy. Now I was learning, but it became overbearing, especially when my salary was being manipulated here and there, and all sorts of creepiness and funny things he was doing, which I'm not going to get into in this video, right? But along the line, I discovered that I could not do this anymore. And based on the laws in Dubai, then you have to give a 1 month notice period before you resign. That's after 6 months. If not, you get a ban, a labor ban, which means you'll not be able to work for another 2 years, or depending on the ban, if your boss goes and puts you abscond and all of that stuff. So I resigned, and it got complicated. So him and I were in court for 4 whole months, right? And you know, when people say, oh, you cannot take this a local to a court in Dubai and this and that, but we went to court, and these people, they were fair, because the case, it turned out in my favor. Now, let's get into the overstay part. While I was in court, I got a job at somewhere in a financial center, and I was working there, but I knew it was transition, because a friend of mine in church, God had used him to speak to me that that place where I am is just a transition. It's not home, so don't sit and get comfortable. So I knew I was going to leave there somehow, but I knew that before I leave, God needs to have given me another job, because you don't just leave leave your job when there's nothing coming, okay? That's what wisdom demands. All right, unless God is giving you express direction. So for me, I was there, and I was going to court, and that was a good thing, because each time I had a court session, these people were so nice, or let me go to court. And by the time the court session was getting over, after that, when your visa is cancelled, you have 1 month grace period. That is, if you're under labor, or sometimes a free zone. Some people can tweak this thing around, but the government gives you 30 days to sort yourself out, change your visa status, or you leave the country, right? So after my court situation, I kept working for these people, and they kept saying, they'll do my visa, they'll do my visa. So at that point in time, you could either go to a neighboring country, which for me, this company suggested I should go to Kish Island. I think that's somewhere in Iran or so. Oh, I don't know, I'm gonna check it. Yeah, so they told me to go there, and once my visa is ready, they will send it for me to come. And I said, okay. Now in that office, I was the only African, and then there was a new African that came, a Sudanese man that had been there. He was a consultant with them. And then he told me, he said, you know what, don't go to Kish yet. Just take your time, wait and see what they'll do in the next few days, because they said they would do it. And if they prepare the visa, if they get your visa ready in the next few days, you just pay a few days of a stay, and it's better than, you know, taking the flight all the way then. But before he even said that, I knew in my spirit I was not going to go to Kish, you know, since they said it was going to take just a few days. But I told them, right, that I've gone to Kish just so that they will speed the process up. And while I waited, I promise you, 1 week passed. I kept writing to them, what's going on? How about me? Oh, we're going to apply for it. The person that had the approval that has to sign for it to be applied, the person is traveled to his home country, and when he comes back, he's going to sign it, because one of the directors was an Indian and he had gone home. So they said once he's back, he's going to sign for my visa application, that he will be coming the following week. And that kept going and going, and I promise you, 1 month passed, and these people kept telling me to wait. Can you believe it? But the good thing is, in that waiting season, God was so kind. He connected me to really amazing people I know from church, and I was doing one part-time or another to get myself going. And that's another thing. Now, some people, they say part-time is not allowed, it's illegal, but I was on an employment visa, you know, and when I got this part-time, by then my visa was still open. I would go, I would do it for a few hours, I get my money, I take care of my bills and all of that. And I promise you, before I knew it, it was over 2 months, and these people kept telling me the person is supposed to come. So I knew that they were not going to apply, because I already had that ministration in my spirit. The season for me being there was over. There was no point, you know, trying to follow it up every now and then. So I started, you know, I was doing the part-time, applying for jobs. I promise you, sometimes I will sit up from midnight to like 5 a.m., you know, just to see all the latest adverts. Anyway, I don't care if there was a restriction, like only Filipinos or only Indians or only Africans. Anyway, I saw something that I felt I could do, I was applying. I was pumping out my CV here and there. I was just sending them out. It was really, really a wonderful season, I promise you. And the good thing is, see, most times when your visa is not valid, people don't like to go out because you might run into the police, which is good. It's not good to be in Overstay. This is not the purpose of this video. I'm not saying get into Overstay. No, it's not right. If you're not getting a job, your time is due, you leave. My situation was really, really different. That's why I'm sharing it here. So I'll go out for these interviews, and one of the reasons why I didn't exit at on time was because I kept going for interviews and they were looking promising, but they never got back to me. You know, they tell you we'll get back to you, and some got back to me, but the pay package wasn't what I wanted. I mean, I just couldn't take it. So I mean, before I knew it, the time kept going and going and going, and I kept praying. I kept trusting God to make a way. I kept trusting God to make a way, and I avoided moving the Lord unless I had an interview. And to the glory of God, then I got called for this interview. And I went there, and they told me, oh, in the history of this company, they've never employed a black. And I told them, I said, see, I was telling myself, I didn't tell them, but in me, I said, my case is different. My case is different, because the favor of God, the hand of God is upon me. Of course, I'm called grace. The grace of God will speak for me. And I came back home, and they called me that they're considering the offer, and they asked me, what's your visa status? And I told them my visa was cancelled. I'm currently on overstay, and I was just been waiting to get a job, then I'll pay for the overstay. I mean, I didn't have the money, but I said I was going to pay for the overstay and get that sorted. And the HR later on told me, he said, shouldn't worry, they'll pay for the overstay, and if they need to deduct it from my salary as I begin working, they will. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Like, God just sorted this 77 days of a stay. And not long from that moment, the company started my application process. I was asking him, do I need to exit? So he told me, no, don't worry, we'll pay for the overstay and you change your visa status within the country. I saw God's goodness. I promise you, God is good. Now, the takeaway, I'm not saying get into overstay. No, don't put yourself in trouble. It's against the law. It's illegal. You get into trouble. You get lots of fine. And if you don't have the money, it's not good. Mine wasn't intentional, but I was in this situation, and I trusted God to see me through. And God brought me out. God brought me out. He brought me out. And I mean, I was super grateful for bringing me out of it. And this company, they paid the overstay, they got my employment ready and everything sorted, and I began working. So I mean, God is good. God saw me through that. So in other way, I want to encourage you. I don't know what you're going through right now, what the situation is, that it wasn't your intention, but you got into it. The mercy of God can speak for you, because for me, I really prayed that the mercy of God would prevail for me, because I just had so much going on at that point in time, and I really just needed God to see me through, and He came through for me. Right, He will come through for you, true for you too, if you depend on Him and rely on Him. So I mean, for my Dubaians, you will understand this whole story I've narrated, and I really hope that this can really bless somebody and can encourage somebody to believe God and to do the right things and trust that God will see them through. So thank you for watching up to this moment. If this has been a blessing, go ahead, like, share, and why not subscribe to this channel. God bless you.